Feed me. Feed me more. Feed me more.
Welcome to another Feed Me More Nutrition Saturday Live. I am the big guy Ryback. Welcome and thank you for joining me as always. Instagram, the big guy Ryback 22, TikTok, the same. Good to see you guys. Ryback TV, Ryback Rules, and on Twitch. And we're on Periscope at Ryback today as well. We're not using the Station Head app, going on TikTok. Today, haven't done that the last couple times until we get the iPhone rig. But for everybody, follow me. Download the Station Head app if you could. It's free. Follow me at Ryback on there. That's where the show will also be being played. You'll get notifications live when we're going live. Some of the platforms don't always do that. And that the Ryback show will be returning very, very soon. I anticipate an email coming Monday with the hope and hopefully having everything set up by the end of next week. So. Other than that, hope you're all doing well. I'm deep into a fast, and I'm a little fatigued on the fast. I got about 6 hours sleep. Usually 7, 8 is my sweet spot, but I can go on 6. But today, just with the fast, I gave the shoulder one extra day of rest. I broke up quite a bit of scar tissue in a brand new area on the softball. So, and I'll be breaking that fast tonight. But we got a lot more cool videos coming on Ryback TV as well for the feeding time performance meals, where I show you guys, because I get so many emails and DMs on people that don't understand the vegan diet, and I don't think there's a lot of people, and I'm sure there's some, but showing you how to actually eat high protein and eat meals that will greatly benefit you, that have benefited me. And as well as still going out and getting a food video once a week as well. I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of those, and because the feedback's been very good. We got a new blog up on feedmemore.com today. Also, the vegan diet for beginners. So if you don't know where to start, if you just go to the blog section, it's in my Instagram as well in the stories and a post. If you just swipe up on the stories on that post for the blog, you could read that and get a little bit of a beginner's guide to the vegan diet, and we're going to be providing more and more content just to help give you guys value and help increase knowledge on health and fitness. Good to see all of you guys. Yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to give up venison, man. That's your choice. I think that we have a major issue in the world right now, and I'm reading another really, really good book right now on factory farming and what it's doing. Our habits and our individual choices are affecting, unfortunately, the entire world on the planet. And really, really, we are jeopardizing our future much more than is being known publicly. And as far as being covered on the news. And so our eating habits, we were never meant to consume the amount we are consuming. That's why they say go vegan, because we could thrive on a vegan diet. But if you knew when they say, like, if everyone had just had a 10-ounce portion once a week, that would be kind of like the threshold of where we're at population wise with the damage we're doing. That's not happening, right? So unfortunately, I think it's going to happen. I think that the choice is going to be made for a lot of people in the future. And I think the alternative is going to be factory farming will go away at some point. It has to. And I think what the lab grown organic stem cell meat and chicken and fish, I think is going to be the future. Regardless of how you feel about it, it's actually far healthier than whatever you're getting right now. And I think that will be the happy medium at some point. But and then everybody wins. And I don't know what the research will be on how that affects heart disease and all that stuff with that sort of thing. But, and if maybe they are able to make the perfect meat that, and, if we can evolve and do that, and we'll see what happens. There's a lot of unknowns, but I think it's good to raise awareness on the issues and what's going on, because it's not only affecting us, it's going to affect your children and generations to come if we even get to that point. So, yo, Man of Steel, what's up, Justin? Good to see you, bud. Yeah, not everyone, obviously has that sense of that level of control over it. And I ate more of it than anyone. But I thought I was doing the right thing as far as from an athlete standpoint, performance standpoint. I couldn't have been any further from the truth. I'm not against. I don't think, I think too, once you become, I think once you do it and once you start learning too, you definitely become more compassionate over time. That's like a common trait that you hear from people that go vegan, plant-based and stuff. And and you see when you see there's one thing with hunting animals, and everyone's going to have their opinion on that and stuff. And then you see what's going on and with the farming, the factory farms, and there's just a lot of issues, and it's a lot. So that's why they say for people, go vegan. The more people that do and that become aware of it, because most people do love animals and are compassionate. It's just now you have to re-educate people on something they've never truly been educated on. It's not the school system as far as, and it's, I don't know. But I think over time, there's more and more people. And I think too, I'm very motivated to show people that you can actually be better doing it. And I'm noticing it straight up from a performance standpoint, not even have to talk about just from compassion and loving animals. My endurance is on a whole other level, and building more and more muscle. The longer I go on this, as my shoulder gets better. So I've had a very, very positive experience with this whole thing. The super chat's rolling in. That should be a good rule on here. If you want your question answered, you give me a super chat. No. Casey Anderson says, thank you for the super chat, bud. What's up, big guy? Can I stack brain feed, hope spot, muscle joint, and shell shock together? Yes, I actually consume all of those every morning. Or should I spread it out throughout the day? I've done that. I take the majority of my stuff in the morning, and there's a couple things I take usually midday, and then I take my GTS at night, obviously an hour before I go to bed. But I've not seen any negative effects or anything of supplements not working, of them taking them together. I think it comes down to personal preference. I think it's easier to take everything at once, especially if I get busy and stuff, where I can get sidetracked. So I think it's more personal preference. And if you want to split it up, I think there's no issue with that. Another super chat here. Wait, was that another one or did I just miss it? Nope. Thank you again, Casey. Stripper money. Let's see. Studio Anima Real Talk. Would you actually try a chunk of human flesh for the right price? I heard it tastes just like pork. No, I wouldn't. I think, unfortunately, too, I put it, and I talk about it, and I think in the video today that went up on Ryback TV here, when I put out the post promoting veganism, with using satire on a theoretical question of like, where do we, to get people to actually think, and like, which is the problem, that's where the problem lies in itself, is asking people to think, which the people that get it, and then asking people like, where do you draw the line? Dogs, cats, monkeys. Why do we eat certain animals and not others? And we have research showing over a long period of time with heart disease that, especially in very heavy amounts and in consuming animal things, all the diseases, and like, obviously there's all this research showing eating humans is bad. People completely miss that. And I say people, and just some, and by that the uneducated. And it's just like, where they're like, well, you're promoting cannibalism. I'm like, no, I'm promoting veganism. Guys, I'm sorry you're not unable to think. So, but that's the world we live in, and I just block them. I just keep going. But I would not try that. No, I know you're not taking a dig, studio. That just reminded me of that, though, of that tweet. I am live on TikTok as well, and Instagram, everyone. Good to see all of you as I talk a little health and fitness, supplementation, and anything else that comes up. Forks Over Knives is a great documentary. I agree. There's so many. You can't argue like that a diet rich in fruits and vegetables, and all the research shows that it reverses heart disease, especially going vegan. And you take away the protein myth that isn't true, and that's what I'm really motivated to show people, that it's a bunch of BS and lies, and it doesn't need to be that way. I am. A lot of people do mistake me as just being coming from the Superman family. I mean, a name like Ryback Reeves is a pretty powerful name. People by that point, when they hear Ryback, they're so just like, their brains are going haywire over that name. Like, it's such a freaking powerful name that when I say Reeves, they're already thinking Superman. They don't even figure it out. By the way, guys, and I don't get paid for this. I only get paid for Feed Me More Nutrition stuff, which is why they're the main sponsor of everything. Because I don't want to sponsor other things and take away from my own brand. But this is Virgil's Zero Sugar Root Beer. Everybody can see. I love Zevias. I've worked with Zevia in the past. I love the Zevia sodas. I love the Zevia root beer. The Zevia root beer, though, has a little bit more of an aftertaste, which it's not horrible at all. I don't mind it at all. This doesn't, though. And these damn things are absolutely delicious and refreshing on a hot summer day. Probably should turn it and drink it the proper way. But it's Virgil. Virgil, not NWO Virgil or $1 Million Man Virgil. It's Virgil, though. He's looks like a fairly good sized white man, large white man with looks like 2 kids. I'm assuming they're his own, unless he's got some Michael Jackson tendencies. I'm not entirely sure, but they look happy. I think there's a little husky in that, and they're about to enjoy some fresh Virgil's root beer. And I got to say, this Virgil guy knows his root beer. I get this at the natural grocers. I would imagine other Whole Food stores. I don't know if Virgil's has had a big rollout yet into the bigger shopping centers, the Walmarts, etc. It honestly, it should, though. It comes in a little 6-pack case. Virgil's Zero Sugar Root Beer. I think you guys are going to be very, very pleased with this. Ryback, my vegan nutritionist told me that you should be eating 400 to 700 grams of carbs daily and closer to 250 grams of protein for optimal health and performance. I think that depends. So there's no way. And again, I don't know if that's based for you and depending on activity level. I can tell you that 700 grams is a very, very high amount of carbs. And I would have to look at the breakdown of everything to see the calories. And that's not there's no way that could be for everyone. They're probably going by percentages. I don't know what that's based off of, but Carbohydrates too. I mean, fantastic energy source. But everyone, you have to know your body. And I process protein better than I do massive amounts of carbs. I could eat carbs and process carbs well, but if I were to eat 700 grams of carbs, there's a good chance I got Ric Flair side fat going on if I'm doing that daily. The old Razor Ramon in shape, but just got that side fat. Cameron says, Kofi, thanks for the super chat. It's hard for me to gain weight. Would a vegan diet still be good for me? Absolutely. And again, when trying to gain weight with that, you're going to increase your carbohydrates more than anything, and quality carbohydrates, as well as your protein and healthy fats with that. And you want to try to strive to have a balanced diet as much as possible. But gaining weight and gaining muscle, it takes consistent daily work. And if you have a faster metabolism, you're fighting a very, very difficult battle, which is why I tell people, don't fight your genetics. Play the hand you've been dealt and maximize it. If you're a naturally lean person, eat and you can still train to build muscle, but work on performance and being as strong and lean and healthy as possible. You know, if you're 170 pounds, if you're 6'2" and 170 pounds, and I'm 6'2" and always in 285, 290 pounds, in which I can maintain that fairly easily, like, and you want to be 300 pounds, there's just no way in hell. That's why I think you see people like that do steroids and they have complexes, and because they've never been big, and they don't understand. Like, it's just a different, and they never feel big, and you just got to be careful with that. And if it's difficult where you can't maintain and do it, why do it? You're just going to cause yourself unwanted, unneeded stress. And I say maximize your genetics. But yeah, I think a vegan diet, though, is, like I've said, and I've tried every form of eating. This was the one that for the longest time I never looked into. And it's the one I wish I did first, because I never would have went to anything else. Oftentimes the gauge is, I'm a fan of 1.5 to 2 grams of protein. One they say 1 to 2 grams also per pound of body weight, and those numbers fluctuate a little bit. But everyone's different on that. Like I said, usually I'm closer to the 400 gram mark most days on what I'm doing on a vegan diet. 350, 400, every once in a blue moon, maybe in the 330, 320 range. But best way to increase your metabolism? Fantastic question. What I would do is, and this is one, so I'm going to promote it because it's my company and it works. It's the Shell Shock Extreme Fat Burner. Has so many ingredients in there that can help do that with the matcha green tea, the green coffee bean, the apple cider vinegar with that. But you could also just do matcha green tea bags. Research has shown matcha green tea can increase metabolism 10 to 12%, which is a huge boost. Also, and I made a post about this earlier, spirulina is fantastic for a lot of performance athletes. Use this to increase endurance, and I've added it into the mix and really, really happy with it so far. But spirulina increases the absorption of vitamin B12, which is huge for us in having and sustaining our energy levels. And that in turn can help increase your metabolism further. So I would say that So I think something like if you do the Shell Shock Extreme Fat Burner and you stack it with like some spirulina and you make sure you're getting enough B12. If not, take an oral B12. I take a little dropper full every morning, but I take nutritional yeast all day long. It's packed full of B vitamins. I get more than enough B12. I've always just done it because I was just like, I just never think you could have enough. But I take my B12, the Wake Up Limited Energies, chock full of B12, a ton of it. And caffeine actually helps the absorption of B12. Caffeine blocks the absorption of iron. And like I said, like certain things in a multivitamin, specifically though, iron absorption, you want to make sure your caffeine 60 to 90 minutes away from. But super chat. Oh, thank you, Aaron. Aaron, again, with the credit card. Thank you, buddy. Hope you're having a good one. I want everyone to be happy and to do their best. I want everybody to win. When everybody wins, the world's a better place. So I try to just pass along things that have helped me. And that's one of the beautiful things about having your own business and working for yourself. You could just be a good person. And not to say you can't be a good person in other things, but I think too, like when you're competing in that element of different, no matter what you do, it could sometimes people don't want to share things and don't want to share things at work. And I don't care because I know how hard I work. So it's like, oh, if every wrestler starts taking beetroots and spirulina, I'm not worried. I already know what I can do. I know, so, but like I a lot of this stuff, fix our food, we fix our mood. And I think it's imperative to pass that knowledge down because it's not being taught to enough people. Are you coming back to WWE? Aaron, that would really be I don't know what to tell you, Aaron, on that. I'm gonna say the odds of that are highly, highly unlikely. With that said, I guess they always say never, but I do not foresee that happening. I don't know. I'm very happy. I know where I want to go. I know what I want to do. I've got several things from a creative standpoint, and I'm just waiting to get my shoulder where I need it. And I feel like if I went there, even if I had everything in writing, like I would be assassinated somehow. They would catch me on fire, and something would go wrong along the way before the contract was out. And yeah, so I'm happy, man. I'm happy, and I say that jokingly, but not really jokingly. What's my favorite movie? Man, I'm a huge fan. I love Will Ferrell, but I love Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn, man, that guy makes me feel good because that Wedding Crashers, which Will Ferrell had a small role in, by the way, with Vince Vaughn, is one of my all-time favorite movies because at my lowest, when I had very little money, I was living in a little rinky-dink shit apartment in Louisville, Kentucky, and had broken up from the girlfriend that I was with for a bit and raising her kid for like a year and a half, and it was down, just down, drinking heavily. And I watched that movie drinking every single night. And that movie, I would go that and watching WrestleMania matches. But I would watch that movie and go to bed with that movie and playing every night. I'd fall asleep drunk and then get up and go work morning to night and work out. And it was just in a rut, but like functioning. That movie kept me in a very, very good mood. And whenever I see a Vince Vaughn movie, it just kind of makes me smile. And his delivery and his comedic style is always. I enjoy it, and it puts me in a good mood. Like it could be having a bad day. Like there was a Vince Vaughn movie had something on, and I turned the TV on, and it was on whatever channel was on, and I don't know if it was on from a Dynamite Wrestling and then whatever. And it was him and Jennifer Aniston. I can't remember the name of it, but I was like, oh man, I just stopped what I was doing and watched it for a bit. And I was like, I wonder what Vince Vaughn looks like now, because that movie was quite a while ago, and he still looks great from what I saw. So, but yeah, Wedding Crashers is up there. Dodgeball, yes, Dodgeball's another one. Oh, with Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn. That Dodgeball's another one, Man of Steel. That one, every time that's on TV, I stop and watch a bit of it. I'm like that with Terminator 2 as well. God, there's so many good ones. Step Brothers is another. There's Something About Mary. Oh, Shallow Hal. Oh, Shallow Hal, man. Back old school, Uncle Buck with John Candy. Uncle Buck. You kids haven't seen Uncle Buck? Go watch you some Uncle Buck. And what's the one, Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley? I got that framed image of him with a kendo stick. Chris Farley, man. That guy's a legend. Jeff asked, how often? The Breakup. Thank you very much. That's the name of it, The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston. How often should I train glutes and back per week? Man, I go hard once a week on that stuff. I know you'll see like the some of the chicks that like I guess it's different being a woman, and like some of them have designated glute days, like they just go in and just work out their ass. And but I mean, there's only so much you can do for your ass, as far as, and I would just prefer you do everything on leg day and let yourself recover. And because I'm doing so many other things, but everyone's different on their preference on that. I don't think any more than twice if you are going to do it. But you see, like I go like where I do like a 20 set rule for anything. In legs, sometimes a little more, in back maybe a little more because they're a little bit larger muscle groups. But if you're doing it twice a week, I would try to still keep the sets kind of for the week total. I wouldn't like do a 20 set workout twice a week. But there's some people that do. A lot of people that do that, though, they tend to not do as much cardio, and that's kind of like their fat burning. And I see a lot of people, and you can't obviously stereotype everyone. A lot of people I see that do these monster things in training, multiple things all the time, like eat really bad. And they never look as good as, and they always look kind of the same, too. So and not that that's bad, because looking the same is looking, if you're in shape, you're in shape, but super chat here from Justin Mees. Thank you. Hey, bud, I'm 6'6", about 280 pounds. Big one. I have had nerve and muscle issues since birth. I'm sorry, very sorry to hear that. Just started recently working out, and I'm looking to develop muscle. I take anxiety and blood pressure meds. Any advice? I don't know what your diet is. But that's going to be the first step is getting your diet right, regardless of how you eat. I'm going to promote being vegan all day long because it's just so much. And I think that would actually fix a lot of things. And again, everything has to be monitored by your physician. But I think if you were to do that, that diet has been shown to be great specifically for those two issues. But a high protein diet, eating as healthy as possible, and consistent weight training and physical activity, especially if you want to start developing muscle. And you got to get yourself, whether it's getting a personal trainer for a bit and getting yourself familiar with exercises and routines, and then kind of branching off if you choose to do that on your own. I'm a big believer in Pinterest, and we have my Ryback's Feed Me More Nutrition account on there. We have a lot of great content and workout stuff and exercises, but Pinterest in general is great. And so my advice to you would be is focus on one muscle group at a time and pick maybe 3 exercises, not to overwhelm yourself. And as you get better, you can add more, but say, okay, today I'm going to train arms, and I'm going to do these 3 bicep and these 3 tricep exercises, or even 2 of each, just to get going. And then once you do those in repetition, they're going to be ingrained in your brain forever, and you're not going to forget them, right? And learning proper form and not going too heavy at first, and just getting a basic understanding and baby steps and adding each week to what you're doing, I think would long term do very, very well and provide you with very good results over time. Oh man, strawberry shortcake or blueberry pie? Oh, that's a tough choice. I eat a lot of blueberries in the morning. Send me the tea and the strawberry shortcake. Thank you very much. That's the strawberry shortcake sounds amazing for tea. Tony, good question. So you're thinking about starting a vegan diet. Where should you begin? We just put up and published a new blog today on feedmemore.com on beginning a vegan diet. I would suggest go read that. And that right there will get you some foods and some ideas. And then what I would do essentially is I would read multiple blogs and articles on vegan diets. And then I got another one on the protein vegan foods. There's another blog in there. And you'll find all those on feedmemore.com, all for free. Tony, I would check out some of those and then come back with some more specific questions. And I think that will be a good start. Super chat from $34. Ryback, I love you and I love eating poop. 1488. Hey, my man. Whatever makes you happy, I guess. Yeah. Whatever makes you happy, my man. If eating poop is your thing, eating poop is your thing. I don't think that's wise, but I'm not surprised. Green tea is okay as the base. Thank you very much. Absolutely. I hope she's not poisoning me, Man of Steel. Do I ever split up my workouts into 2 sessions and do one at home and one at the gym? You know, I oftentimes will go work out at the gym and then come home and do a few other things. Then other times I just work out at home. So sometimes it's just nice to get out, especially now that I feel good again. I think when I was really hurt, I avoided people as much as possible, and I still, in some ways, do, because like when I go out, I get recognized quite often, and that's a blessing. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But oftentimes people, they don't know what happened, and it sparks a conversation of like, where are you? I miss you so much. Why aren't you on TV anymore? Because nothing was explained. And so it's like, as you know, I say it all. I constantly talk about it, and when it comes up, so because I want people to understand what's going on, because I hope that the question will kind of get asked less. But also, there's a lot of misinformation and things out there, and which creates some hate with people. Which again, stuff doesn't bother me. Like there's nothing that's ever going to be said to me by anyone, because I know I do the work, and like I know, and those the important people know, So, but now that I'm feeling much better, I like to get out a little more. But even that, I'll go on a little burst, and I got to train at home for a bit. I got to, so, but yeah, I don't ever do a morning session, night session. I do everything all at once. And I have my days where I'll have one day specifically just straight conditioning, which was yesterday, where I did my Stairmaster and then the elliptical, but maxed out on the Stairmaster and put in a really good performance on that. But I try to get it all done at once, just with how busy I am with everything. But I don't think I think split routines too are good. I don't necessarily have the time in driving, and even though my gym's here, I do it all at once. That's always kind of just been my thing. Yeah, good question, Randy. Do you know any good vegan food or fruit that's good for giving you energy? The fruit I do in the morning that I'm a big fan of is I typically do a serving of blueberries, or like in this, like I'll mix it up my things, or mixed berries, but usually blueberries. One banana, and I just cut up the banana, throw that in there. I take about 5 to 6 scoops of fresh watermelon, and put that in the bowl with it. And then I do like 3 or 4 figs. That's my morning fruit. Then I love it, man. I think you'll be very, very happy. I'm loving that, and I think you'll love it. If you have certain fruits you like more than others, try mixing and matching here and there. But bananas are great, man, and bananas actually are great at increasing our mood also, with some of the stuff in them. I notice the days I have a banana in the morning, just an extra little pep in my step. Another super chat here. Justin Mees, cool. My routine is 20 minutes of cardio, 3 sets of 3 different exercises, 12 reps. I do leg day, arms and shoulders, chest and back, then a day off. Yeah, man. No, that looks good if that's what you're doing and staying consistent. You just got to keep adding, and challenging yourself intensity wise, weight wise, in baby steps, nothing crazy, but always kind of keep trying to improve on the results, which I'm sure you are. And that's something that has benefited me. And man, I love the weight room. I love exercise. I love cardio. I love conditioning. The endorphin release I get from training. Like I love pro wrestling. I'm very passionate about pro wrestling, but I love weight training also. I love nutrition. I love supplementation. And that's what I was in school for, and for kinesiological sciences at UNLV before I dropped out for wrestling for Tough Enough, which was, but that's what I enjoy. So, man, I like to see, and I love seeing people get results and changing their lives, because it's given me so much to my life. Ryback, if you were on a desert island and it was you or the cow, would you eat it? So if I'm on an island, one, I got to be able to hopefully be able to start a fire, right? Also, if it's just me and the cow, we're now with the question of, why would I just eat the cow to then I'm going to be hungry again and die eventually, right? I don't know. I think it would be just me and the cow would chill until we just got weak enough. We'd just go to sleep, and then, yeah, I think that'd probably be the play on that. Unless the cow perished first, but then again, it's the question of, am I going to eat just the flesh of a cow, or am I have the capability to cook it? I don't know. A lot of unanswered questions there with that question there, Silva Surfer. All right, Bud. Take it easy, man. It is a comical question, kind of. I don't really have I have more questions from that question than the question itself. Oh man, I did not know that. I'm very sorry to hear that about it. I haven't talked to him in a while. I think he sent me a bunch of stuff. I have it in the cupboard because I'm not eating it, but I'll have to shoot him a message. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Ricky Scurvy. Ricky's been gone. Man of Steel, we're going to have to get you modded here. Absolutely, I love UFC. I really, really enjoy watching the big pay-per-views. I think UFC's changed pro wrestling. Not, I think it's taken away. That's responsible for taking away a chunk of the audience as well as pro wrestling. Not necessarily, um, some of it falls on the hands of pro wrestling too, because I think if there's enough believability and intensity, that still will draw casual viewers in. I do believe that wholeheartedly, but it's not easy. There's not a lot of guys that are like that in general, which is why I always believe I'll have a job. I don't think there's a lot of people that have that inside of them. So, and that's not a bad thing. There's all different characters. I just think it's the hardest one to find. Man, I deal with depression or sadness by one. I don't think of it as a disease. I don't give it any power. If I look for things, I'm aware of focusing on the good more than the bad. I think we all get sad at different times or get down, but it's like not even like I never looked at that as like I don't look at that as like a crippling weakness that's going to run my life. Fuck that. That's why I don't relate to like the stuff like bad stuff happens to all of us. That's life. Granted, there are levels to this, and obviously what happens, I think, when you're younger can have a greater impact on your life. So I'm very sympathetic on that end as well. But for me in my life, like I've had a bunch of bad shit happen to me. Like this whole last 5 years, I think would have, I think a good portion of people would have just killed themselves if they went what they do, like walking away from millions of dollars and in all this bullshit and lies and needing a 5 disc fusion and shoulder replacement. Not once have I ever felt sorry for myself. I was like, oh, I'm just going to get better. It might take a while. I'm going to figure it out. And if I don't get better, I'll figure out how to be happy one way or another, which is what I've done. I don't like in my ankle injury, same thing. I just I don't let it dictate what's going to happen in my life. All the greatest people in the world have had overcome the most adversity. And I look at it, I'm like, man, this is that period of my life that when I'm doing interviews after this period with everything, and it's like people are gonna go back and look at this and be like, fuck yeah, that guy, everything he said, his mindset, same guy in a different situation. But I don't let it rule me, man. Also, the Hope Spot Mood Stress Support is fantastic. With that, I think it is a fantastic supplement that we offer, as is everything. Can I talk about Sponge Daddy? I just was thinking about that the other day. That Reddit AMA. I've literally had went into that thing completely in the dark. Never have been a Reddit guy or knew anything about Reddit. I say, okay, they asked me if I want to do an AMA. I didn't even know what the AMA was. I was like, what's an AMA? I don't know anything like about any of this. And I did my workout. I was eating sushi. This is before I was vegan. This is probably what was a couple of years ago now, close to it. Or maybe it was my cheat day for I was vegetarian maybe already at that point. And the questions, I just remember I sat down. I think I almost forgot. I was like, oh, I got to do this thing. And then I'm just like answering. I don't know. I didn't reply to the actual questions, so nobody knew what I was replying to, which is actually hysterical. I wish I did that on purpose. I wish I could say I did that on purpose to fuck with everybody, but I didn't. And it was a good time. People had to go back and figure out what questions, like what answers went with what questions. I got the Sponge Daddy. I'm a big Sponge Daddy user. Those things last forever. I just threw away one the other day. Got a brand new green one out. I get the 3-pack every time off Amazon. Big Sponge Daddy. Or those are Scrub Daddy. The Sponge Daddies. Yeah, I'm thinking of Scrub Daddy, but on that thing I said Sponge Daddy. I love India, and I'm very thankful for the Russell chatters, and thank you guys. I'm actually depending on you guys to get me to 500,000 on here and then 1 million. I need you guys with the suppression I got going on. Yeah, I'd absolutely. That was always one of the matches I always wanted was against Brock. I think we would both bring out the best in each other. I would not hold back one bit. I could promise you that. I don't know. I don't even play video games. I never even I think I saw the video game I was in, a couple of few. I don't know if I was in 3 or 4 of them, 5 of them. I didn't make the last year because I left and they took me out. So, which was a blessing. I'm glad because all this stuff for the trademark stuff is actually. I'll explain more in time of why I've kind of done some of the stuff I've done too, which is I was advised to do, which has helped. But I don't know what my look was in that game. Let's see. This is a good question. Sam says, out of your products, what would help me with my warehouse job? I'm on my feet for 11 plus hours, lifting a total of 40 to 60,000 pounds of product. Holy hell, man. Clearly that's not at once. The overall, that in 11 hours, just nonstop. Dude, do you work for Amazon? That is the Wake Up Unlimited Energy. I would take a full rounded scoop of that before going in. And I think that will be very, very beneficial for you. If you think that if you do that and for whatever reason, that energy doesn't last the entire 11 hours, I would split it in half and do half and half if you could to get you through the second half. But I would try the full scoop first. I think you're going to, the Wake Up Unlimited Energy too, it has no crash. That energy, because we have, not only do we have 350 milligrams of caffeine in the yohimbine in there as well, Asian ginseng, and we have such a great amount of B vitamins and with the B12, the energy hits in a very good way, and it's sustaining energy. So I would check out the Wake Up Unlimited Energy. I think that will greatly, greatly help you, my friend. What a trooper you are, man, too. That's not an easy job. What kind of weight training do you need to increase muscle mass? And you don't want to know, this is something I'm going to plug this a lot because this is what helped me when I was a kid. And I've talked about it on here before. The AST, they're a supplement company. And they used to have these natural bodybuilders. At least they said they were natural. And I don't know if they were or not when I was younger, but I believed they were. In maximum overload training, the Max-OT training program. Check that out. Google it. The Max OT training program. It's 4 to 6 reps and 6 to 9 sets per workout. I always would go 9 to 12, but do it. I'm telling you, I got massive results when I was younger on that workout program. $34 out of your products. What would help me with my poop factory job? I'm on my feet for 11 plus hours, eating a total of 40 to 60 pounds of poop. What should I use? Man, you're a poop eating machine, my friend. I'm going to say you want to add the kick out immune system support in there. And I'm trying to think. I don't sell this, but I would add spirulina into your diet as well, which helps kind of detoxify you. Also, I would do a 72-hour dry fast to just rid your body of all the poop. The Pepper Dojo. Let's talk about steroids. Yeah, don't do them. They're horrible. Anything outside of TRT, HRT, no business. Nobody. And I wish we could rid the world of them and all the people that are using them and abusing them that people are looking up to and people on social media are doing. Guys that are powerlifters that wouldn't even win a natural powerlifting contest that are, it's just crazy what is going on with all of that. So stay away from them. There's literally no value they're going to add to your life. And mentally weak people use them. Mentally insecure and mentally weak people use them and abuse them. I did them from 20 to 24 mildly because I was mentally weak and insecure. And I let other people's insecurities become my own because I didn't know who I was yet. And that's why I promote what I do. And I've had all my success without that stuff. And I want people, like, you don't need them. You don't need them. And I don't think people that do them should be looked at as heroes. And that goes for bodybuilders. I don't think they should be looked up to. I think they should be frowned upon. And if you're a parent of your kid, that was what I would explain to my kid. I go, we don't hate on them. We don't follow them. We just simply just don't acknowledge them. As far as don't follow them, don't like their stuff, just stay away from it. I am not on steroids. I am on TRT, which is entirely different than being on steroids. What exercises could give you better balance? I don't know the name of it, but it's a little blow up thing. I had it for my ankle with my ankle injury. There's balance boards. If you Google balance boards, like for your feet, for ankles, ankle stability training are things like those. I would type in ankle stability training. You're going to get a lot of good stuff on that. They sell like little stuff that's not expensive. There's like a little, it's like a half cut off portion deal where you stand on it on one foot. And you fill it up with air, and you work on your balance that way. The Bosu ball is another great thing. I do Hindu squats on a Bosu ball, great for your core and great for stability as well. Sam, yeah, would I recommend taking protein? I would get the plant-powered protein. We do have the sale, and I will do that if you want. If you're doing whey protein, we have our fruity cereal. Right now it's 50% off. You just minimum requirement, you buy 2. There's no limit after how many you buy on those. Right now with the discount code Fruity50, our fruity cereal, once it's out of stock, we're going to be switching over to a plant-based version of that down the road. But we got our caramel cookie plant protein that's not on sale available, which I think is superior to the whey. But if you're a person that likes whey, we have those 50% off till tomorrow midnight. And I'll have that in the description and comments. And there's another video with it as well. I do advise, yes, making sure you have sufficient protein in your diet regardless with that. That's going to help tremendously. But I think the Wake Up Element Energy from an energy standpoint will help you. But if you're malnourished and you don't have quality food in you throughout the day, your energy levels are going to suffer regardless. Even if you get a spike from the wake up, you got to make sure that your diet is you're getting quality protein and quality calories, which micronutrients in vegetables are key, along with those macronutrients. Did you mean to clothesline your hair? And I have to shave every other day, buddy. But I've never understood that. That one, if there's one thing that's never made me like remotely, no matter who says it, or like where like I don't even get angry for a second, it's the like, oh, you're bald. I never have like, I love being bald. Like I'm bald by choice. Like I love it. I think I'm a much better looking man bald with the way I look, my voice. I think I am the spokesman for what a bald guy should look and sound like. And I do very well with the ladies. So like, I'm not like insecure about it at all, like at all. If you're obese, a basal metabolic rate calculator, put in your information as accurately as possible, a basal metabolic rate calculator. And then you got to start watching your calories and consuming, around 250 calories less than what you need every day, 250, 300 calories in that range, and adjusting that slowly over time is a very good start. But you got to fix your food. The food is the problem. Life is energy. Food is energy. We are energy. Everything. Food is the number one thing that affects everything else that we do in our life. What we put in our body. It's the most important, single-handedly the most important thing. So we got to fix that first. And a lot of your other problems will disappear over time as you do that. But if you want to give yourself a fighting chance to fix other problems, you got to fix the food first. I would check out the Big Guy Testosterone Booster for the zinc comment. I think that you will find that very beneficial. I was in Newcastle after leaving WWE. I remember because I trained at this gym. I remember that gym there. Um, Man, I was in so much pain. Oh, I've been very honest about that. The reason I did independence after and I was launched Feed Me More Nutrition, and it was a great 2.5 year run. It was financially, I was in the booking fees, making $4,000 to $5,000 for the majority of my appearances, doing multiple appearances most weeks. With that was only going to last for a certain period of time, while I dumped in hundreds of thousands of dollars into Feed Me More Nutrition. But I shouldn't have been wrestling with the state that I was in. I didn't understand fully until had already started taking bookings, and I just remember I was in a lot of pain, and I didn't know what was going to happen, and every week mattered. I was like, okay, I got to make sure I can this money as long as this lasts. And then after Sophie's disc disease, and then the doctor is like, it just finally got through. I was like, I got to stop, and it was a blessing. Honestly, I think if that stuff didn't happen to Sophie, I probably never would have, and I don't know if I would have got better. So, and it sucks, and Sophie's my baby, but it was the thing that got me to, I love her so much, to stop doing appearances. And it allowed me to focus on my business. I wouldn't be where I am if I was still doing appearances every week. I would have, and I always worked super hard. I wouldn't have been as hungry because I just had so much money coming in. Whereas like I learned sales and marketing because I literally lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, cut off instantly, over time, like with that. But I was just remember I was always hurt, and it's not a good feeling. So everything was just business for me, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I was just hurt, and I was hurt bad. My thoughts on John Cena as a person. Like I said, even if guys like Cena and Punk were the two that and more Punk than John, but John in a different way. Uh, I think I'm a different person than John in certain ways. I think we have certain things in common. I do respect John and his work ethic, and I understand in John's position. There's other people that were in the office that will say negative things about how he was to work with it. Not in the wrestling ring. In the wrestling ring, I always enjoyed wrestling John. I learned a lot from John. I'm very thankful for that. I think had I been allowed to be in that position, and I think maybe a reason why they didn't want me in that position is I would have been more outspoken for everybody on the things that I had problems with because of my ankle injury. I always had that chip on my shoulder, and seeing the flaws in the wrestling industry, and not saying, and maybe it could have been, part of the downfall of me not being able to be in that position. Because if you've seen, I've spoken up on issues which some people don't understand. It's not for me, it's for pro wrestling, and to force and to get things because the wrestlers aren't going to talk. And it sucks. But anyways, I'm happy for his success. I think he's going to have tremendous success and continued success in Hollywood because he has a very, very good work ethic. But I think we're different people, and everything I've ever said is I 100% stand behind, and I've had support on from other people. They're not going to publicly say it, but it is what it is. And I don't ever, everything I've always said, I just speak honestly on from my experience. But I have a lot of respect for John still. Always, I do, as I do all wrestlers, and Punk as well. With that, I just don't agree with certain things. No, I just played that role at 2013 to the best of my ability as a heel, and I did good business. So you can't frown upon that because if I would have tried to fight it, then I have a bad attitude, right? So I've always done good business, and that's something that nobody can ever make up or take anything away. And you never heard anything come out with. That's why when certain people are paid puppets that come out and try to say something 5 years later, they're full of shit because that would have came out at the time, and there would have been confirmed stories of it happening, and I would have acknowledged it. I would have publicly, especially if it wasn't true coming out, I would have spoken up about it and whatnot. So I've always been a professional and done what is asked, because at the end of the day, when you sign a contract, you got to go out and do what they ask you to do if you don't have it in the contract otherwise. So, and I always did business. I always did good business. I always played every role to the best of my ability and got over in every role that I was given. Yeah, quite honestly, with where I'm at in life, I think no matter where I went, the freedom is going to be better than the first run, regardless. And I'm in a much more powerful position to give input and not be confrontational, but to give input. Nathan, check out our ISO Hungry, the plant protein, the caramel cookie. They're working on my peanut butter pieces right now, getting the flavor perfected to match the grass-fed whey as well on that. But check out the caramel cookie. I would just say you could take that, having a protein shake, like a 40 to 60, a 43 to 60, a 42 to 63 gram protein shake. There's 21 grams per scoop in that. With some rice or some rice and beans, even very good bulking meal right there. I remember that match at Chaotic. I was really hurt for that as well. Those were over as great as it was, getting to do all that and meet people. I was that stuff. I was at the peak of my pain. That stuff, that stuff. Like, I just think back to it and I'm just like, it makes me, I guess it's good to remember it, to be grateful for where I am now. But man, I wish you guys could have seen me healthy. Even though I feel I always went out and wrestled as hard as I could. I could do a lot more. I think that's going to be the cool thing, hopefully, and being able, when this is shoulders right where I need it to come back, I think people are going to be like, oh yeah, I honestly believe people are going to be, he got a lot better. And I think it's just more, maybe I just got a lot healthier, because I was in a lot of pain in WWE for a good portion of my career there. And that stems from the ankle injury and the cortisone and stuff being pumped into me by them. What's my opinion on Dave Meltzer? And again, does a lot more harm than good for the wrestling business. And I just state based off facts of, I know how many lies he's put out on me, because for whatever reason, and I don't know if he was a punk guy or whatever, just lie after lie after lie. I don't know if he's ever given one accurate bit of information on me ever. And I know if that's just with me, I'm sure he's done that. And you hear these other people come out and say stuff. I just think you're in a position to influence people, and you could either do good journalism and promote positivity, or you could lie and promote negativity. And I think he lies and promotes negativity. And that's a reflection of him and his insecurities. And I think he could be so much better. And he could have a more positive impact on the wrestling business. But unfortunately, he doesn't. And I think wrestling fans, I think you guys will enjoy the product much better not listening to people like him and not reading dirt sheets. I think you will enjoy pro wrestling so much more and be so much more excited about it if you quit spoiling it for yourselves. I've been vegan over 9 months now, approaching 9 months in 1 week on Tuesday. And I was vegetarian primarily for a year before that, but still doing cheat meals once a week, sometimes twice, depending on the schedule for Ryback TV. Bully Ray was giving me props a few times on Busted Open the last couple of weeks about titles being props. I haven't heard anything. I don't. That whole show was blocked, and Bully wasn't blocked, but I can't support anything after the stuff with that happened with who. I'm not even saying his name anymore. he's done. The lies that he put out, he'll forever be, he could apologize. He could offer me $1 million. I never forgiven, forgotten. It's just can't associate with that mindset and what he tried to do. And I don't respect him anymore, quite frankly. Not Bully, the other guy. And I love Tommy Dreamer as well. Bully was always very good with me. And that's one of the things you can't argue with me on that because it's a fact. It doesn't mean that the props don't have meaning in everything. And that's why it upset me with that. And I tell you guys, my mindset on pro wrestling, and I think fans would appreciate wrestlers much more. Wrestling is physical acting. That is how I've always approached it. And I think it's unfair to wrestlers that fans judge them and scrutinize them for them going out there and playing the roles to the best of their ability. And I think everyone would be treated better and have a better sense. A guy shouldn't have to have the WWE Championship prop to be looked at as a Hall of Famer or somebody as a career fulfilled. It's simply a role. And it doesn't mean that those roles and those props don't have meaning, because I never said that. They do, and they have significant meaning to different people. And for other people, they don't have as much meaning because and that's the way that it is. With that. But I look at, and that's what always allowed me to, if you ever wonder, like people go, well, why did you go out and do that? They were sabotaging you, because my mindset is it's physical acting. And I would just go, okay, that's not the direction I thought we were going to go today, but I'll go out and play that role to the best of my ability and go out, because then it's for the other person. And I would want that person to do it for me. Otherwise, you're difficult to work with and people don't want to work with you. And if you don't, it's a give and get business. Sometimes it's your time, sometimes it's not. And that's what always allowed me to put my ego aside and go out and do business, was that it's physical acting. And that always allowed me to have massive success in whatever role. And if you ever watch me, whatever role I played, I dare you to tell me I didn't get it over. It's because I look at it and and that's kind of him. If he's doing that, I wish he would have done it when the other guy was making up all the BS and the lies, right? And, but I like Bully. I've always liked Bully. Bully has a very, very great wrestling mind. And me and Bully have always fantastic conversations. He's always been very complimentary of me when we're around each other, and likewise. And I've always said nothing but great things about him. I like him a lot. I just don't like that show. I don't like the owner of that show for allowing what they allowed with the paid stuff through what happened. It really, really was upsetting to me because it was lies, and it doesn't help. And I know it's just vicious, vile, and the trademark stuff sucks. I want it over with, and it's going to be over soon. And I'm going to have the Ryback trademark. But what they're doing to my social media, it's a very frustrating thing that's going on that people can't understand because you're not me in that position. But I'm happy to hear that, though, because it's a fact. It's a fact. And I've heard that from people. I've heard Al Snow talk about it. I have nothing but massive respect for Al Snow. And but all championships are props. That's not just a wrestling thing. So this is a good little conversation. All sports are businesses out at the pro level, which is why they create the championships. Everything is built around the bottom line and revenue. All championships are props. All championships have different meanings to different people, though, right? If you're in hockey, the Stanley Cup has significant meaning to everybody that's competing for it. It has no meaning to me because I don't watch it. I'm not involved in it, right? But I understand it. But it's still a prop. All championships are. But that's how the businesses create they have people compete against each other for those props. And it creates that competitive environment, which is a whole other conversation which is why I like having control of my life now. And I can control my attitude and not have to do negative things or have a negative outlook on things, have my money negatively affected if I don't try to cut somebody's feet from under them. Or you know what I'm saying? There's a reason why I've gone the route that I have on things, and why I'm going to go back in the position I'm going to be in mentally to not let the negatives of the business affect me. Does that make sense? And maybe you'll get a better idea of kind of the things I've done and what I'm doing, besides being massively passionate about them. Nicken, do you like the great one? I have no idea who that is. let's see. Yeah, I'm a fan of everyone of various wrestling styles. I think that's why I always said I feel like sometimes fans, everyone's going to be drawn to a particular style. I was always drawn to the hybrid powerhouse style of still working, but cool power and intensity and destruction. That is why I molded my style. And Shawn Michaels, I've already told you guys, I was doing a Skip Sheffield, doing the Ric Flair up and over, going to the top rope, doing axe handles off the top, and Shawn pulled me aside. He was sitting with Vincent Hunter, and he goes, "Look, did his Shawn being Shawn, and he's like, you could be another guy that does this. We have a bunch of guys on this roster." And Shawn wasn't even around. He was just there for this one particular show. We might have been in Texas, probably were, in his wherever he lived. And he's like, "Look at you." He goes, "You see a lot of guys." He goes, "There's nobody like you on this roster right now." He goes, "So you could try to do the other stuff." And he goes, "You do it good." He goes, "But you could blend in and do that." Or he goes, "You could be like the best powerhouse on this roster and make a lot of money." And that was the conversation. And then I got hurt shortly thereafter that we went Nexus. But that's why you saw me, by the way. So my style instantly started changing on TV after that, where I think I was more Ryback than Skip Sheffield at the time. But when we went Nexus, that's why you saw me the way that I was from that conversation with Shawn, which I'm very grateful for because he allowed me to make a lot of money. Because it just made sense. It resonated with me. But I'm a fan of respecting all the styles. I love the guys. I love high flying moves. I just think, too, there's a time and place for everything, and you should never sacrifice believability for the sake of doing a move to somebody. And I'm not a big fan necessarily of all the gymnastics because, again, the rule, as long as you can do it and it doesn't sacrifice the believability of pro wrestling. And I think that's a good rule to hold on. You can still do a lot of the stuff, but I think if you have that in your head, you will use it more efficiently and better. Does that make sense? But everybody has their own flavor and thing. But I'm a big believer that the rules that were put place in wrestling from those, I respect those that came before us, that they had the rules of the game down pretty good, that we should never stray too far from those. We could evolve them and adjust them here and there. The pace can pick it up. I'm a big believer MMA has changed pro wrestling also in certain aspects, right? But pro wrestling can also draw people in different ways through selling and psychology in ways that fighting necessarily sometimes can't in certain instances because it is pro wrestling. So, but thank you very much for that comment. And I do think, and I do feel I have a very, very good creative pro wrestling mind and fundamental understanding of psychology because of who my teachers were. I had some of the best. And I've excelled at the highest level, and it's made me a lot of money. And it's proven to work. And I've got to be in the ring with a lot of guys that understand that aren't around anymore, that I still have in me. So I think I am very valuable, one, with my brand, and two, with the knowledge that I have, that I will be able to be a very positive influence wherever I do go eventually. I look forward to it. So because and the guys need that, and there's a lot of great guys that are passing that on right now around, but it's something that's the only way things continue on. The style has changed. That's why I do think that I will stand out wherever I go, in a very positive way. I will check that. I will check them out. I'm a big fan. I think AEW has some very, very talented wrestlers there that are only going to continue to get better. Oh, guys, I went long today. The fasting. So you guys, thank you for helping me take my time off this fast. We're going to wrap up today's, hold on. What's the difference between Advil PM and GTS? Is we don't have we don't use those ingredients, and I don't know exactly what they use, but the GTS is far better for you. That I can assure you. And it's not good to take those things long term. The Advil stuff with the ibuprofen too, and I know they put something in there that knocks you out. It's not natural. The GTS sleep aid and we have a full ZMA supplement in there as well. That supplement should probably be $44 to $49.99, and I keep it low at $24.99 for a month's supply. Some people only take half the dosage and make it last for 2 months. It's just, I think it's the most effective, powerful over-the-counter sleep aid, and it doesn't leave you. I wake up no morning hangover on it, no grogginess. I take it an hour before bed, and it puts me in a nice, relaxed mood, and I just go to sleep. I have no sleep issues. I sleep like a baby, and it is something like today, even like on a day, like I just wake up. I woke up with a ton of it. Like it's whatever time was it 6 today with a ton of energy. I only slept 6 hours, and like I said, I'm tired now because I'm fasting on that. But it's like it's top notch, man. The stuff works. It's far better for you. And that's not me. I always am like going to promote my stuff because I believe in it so passionately and strongly, and I use everything religiously. It's just it's such a better supplement to use than that other stuff, especially long term. Anyways, guys, we're going to wrap up. Thank you again for joining me. Please check out Feed Me More Nutrition on feedmemore.com. We got right now until tomorrow midnight Pacific. Buy 50% off my fruity cereal, ISO Hungry Protein. The minimum requirement is you just got to buy 2. It's regularly $39.99. You can get it for $19.99 right now, guys, on feedmemore.com. You just got to buy 2, and then there's no limit. If you want to buy 5, you want to buy 10, you want to buy 20. Once it's out of stock, though, the grass-fed way is out of stock, and everything's going to the plant-based versions on all those flavors. But you can buy that right now for 50% off. Discount code FRUITY50 on feedmemore.com. Sign up for my email, my text message programs. You get 25% off your orders on those if you don't want to buy the protein, guys, for your next 2 orders. And we have our spin and win wheel on the homepage as well. The spin and win on the homepage as well, guys, for up to 35% off and free prizes like a free Feed Me More Nutrition gym bag and half-gallon jug, in which we may be updating some of those prizes in the upcoming month as well. So check that all out, guys, and the blog content as well. Thank you for the love and support. Hope you have a great, great Saturday evening. Be safe and stay hungry, my friends. Feed me more.